Brian Crawford of the River's Edge Radio Network here at the James Street Gastropub and Speakeasy. We're here in the ballroom, which was recently cited for a noise violation at the Deutschetown Music Festival. And I have here a trumpet with me, and we're here, it's under construction, and the trumpet, there's an interesting device that they make for a trumpet. It's called a mute. You stick it in the front of the trumpet, and it muffles the sound. The Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement, in a sense, has muted the ballroom here at the James Street Gastropub and Speakeasy. We're going to talk with Kevin Saftner, who runs the place. We're going to get his story. We're going to find out what happened that night on James Street and see what we could do to help the local music community here in Pittsburgh. That interview now at riversedgepgh.com. July 9th at the Deutschetown Music Festival, undercover agents of the Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement cited this establishment, James Street, for a noise violation after receiving complaints. So I'm here with Kevin Saftner, who is the manager of James Street, the Gastropub and Speakeasy, a great local venue for local artists here in the North Side. Describe the situation for me.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming in and bringing light to the situation. It has been an ongoing, slightly ongoing issue here for us. First, I guess I should start with the law in Pennsylvania. If you have a liquor license in an establishment, it is illegal to hear any amplified sound coming out of your premises. So more or less, if you're a bar, you can't hear any TV, radio, live music outside of your building, or it is illegal. So the law is the law. So we more or less have been forced to change. The first issue we had was, I believe, in October of 2015. We were cited. We have spoken with numerous enforcement officers since then. We have not received any other citations as of now, so just that one from October 2015. But during the Deutschetown Music Festival, which is a huge music festival over here, thousands of people, hundreds of bands, 20 plus venues, the streets are shut down, there's city permits for it. We even reached out to Darlene Harris, our district councilwoman. She spoke with the head of police here in Zone 1, which here in Georgetown, North Side, we're Zone 1. And they said that we have all the correct permits and that we should have nothing to worry about as far as noise goes that day. At about 8:30, the PLCB showed up, and they said that they were citing us for a noise violation for being too loud, despite everything else that was going on around us. And here we are now, more or less.
What was going through your mind when they showed up at the Deutschetown Music Festival at your doorstep after already dealing with them in the past?
Yeah, it was disappointing because of all of the other music and all of the other things going on directly right next to us. Like, there's literally a huge stage right next door.
On the street.
On the street. But also, every other restaurant and venue around here was doing the same exact thing we were doing that day. But they still enforced it selectively with us, it seems like. So that's the tough part.
Well, do you think the complaint that came out against James Street, do you think it was malicious?
No, I mean, we'll never know.
Because I just look at it, this law, I personally had no idea this existed. I had no idea that the liquor laws affected noise complaints. I always assumed that would only be for local ordinances coming from the city or your local municipality. So I feel like the average person wouldn't know about these laws. I mean, I had no clue.
I had no clue.
So you had no idea either.
I had no idea either. We always were...
I would never think to contact a liquor agency, and I know that it comes through the state police, but yes, that's still I would call the local police. I wouldn't call even the state police over something.
There would
like
be
this.
times where the local police would come around for noise complaints, and we discuss it, and we would close the windows. And I mean, heck, we even put in soundproofing on all the windows to, to make the neighbors happy. But it just wasn't enough.
do you think it's redundant that there are two sets of laws on the books, both municipally and through the state with the liquor laws, the Liquor Control Board?
Yeah, I understand why you need some state laws, absolutely, but there's already a set of laws on the books, and I feel that our community's police officers know what the community wants and needs better than somebody in Harrisburg right now. So I don't see the need for sound ordinances in the city and then sound ordinances in the state. I feel like the local municipalities should be able to handle something like this much better.
I look at the Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement and the way that they handle these investigations, which it just appears from an outsider looking in that it is kind of a guilty until proven innocent type of deal. In the way that they regulate this, the way that they determine whether your sound has crossed the property line, it seems very anecdotal. Do you think that maybe the way that they kind of come to their conclusion might be a little, I don't want to say questionable, but certainly lacking any kind of hard evidence? It's not like they come out here with a device and scan the audio, the audio waves coming from the building to know exactly where it's coming from.
I'm learning a lot about this situation, and there was just a great article in the city paper about this, and I learned a lot from that because they spoke with the liquor attorney downtown, and he pretty much said that when they come, it is their opinion if it is too loud. And there's no way to debate it in court because it is literally just their opinion versus your opinion from what I read and understand. And that does make it pretty tough, that doesn't have to be any specific evidence. And it just seems like that's the whole law just seems a little antiquated and funny. Like speeding in your car, they're going to have a radar gun and say, you were going too fast. They're not going to look at you and say, it looked like you were going too fast.
Yeah, I mean, I could see maybe you hear the noise outside of the property line and that causes an investigation or causes some sort of question, but it just seems odd that is the hard evidence that they present, and I just don't understand how legally that would hold up. Apparently it does, but it seems very odd. Does it seem unreasonable to you?
The law is the law, and however they enforce it is how they enforce it. And all we can do is follow the law. So we kind of had to get to the point where I just have kind of stopped worrying about those things and just want to move forward and make the changes that need to be made. How
and why do you think James Street was targeted at the Deutschetown Music Festival? Again, as we said, there were how many venues? There were over a dozen venues. Music on the street. They did have, I know that they have beer on the street at Deutschetown as well. So I mean, there are, they have the beer garden there. So there are.
We were told every time we've been told it's an anonymous call. We've also been told that after the Liquor Control Board cites you, there's an open investigation for they need to come in and investigate 3 more times. Most of the times that they've been here have been for Layer Cake Festival twice, Deutschetown Music Festival, and a couple other times for very big events. So it's hard to say why, but it probably all just stems from that first call and then being on the radar, and it is what it is more or less.
Since Deutschetown, the Deutschetown Music Festival, there have not been any performances up here. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. We've had to cancel at least 30 shows and then move some of our shows from upstairs to downstairs and Speakeasy and cancel those shows, which has been a very hectic and difficult past month or so now.
Roger Humphreys, who's a local jazz legend who's been around the world, he would do his nights here on Thursday, his jam sessions. Yeah. Is that something that's been going on in the Speakeasy, or is that on hiatus due to this?
We moved that down to the Speakeasy, so that's down there since the Thursday after the music festival, and I had to cancel every show that was down there on Thursdays because of it.
Wow.
So it's disappointing on all sorts of sides because obviously we're losing those 30 shows. So we're losing that business, but we need to spend more money to fix this room to be able to use it again. And then plus, we have bands coming from out of town where I had to say, I felt terrible, but
Sure.
the changes had to be made more or less.
Brian Crawford here with Kevin Saftner. We're actually here in the ballroom at James Street, at the James Street Gastropub and Speakeasy. How much will it cost, in your estimation, to fix this room or get this room soundproof ready so you can avoid all of these issues with the Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement?
Well, so they said that if they come back, they will be putting my mom, whose name's on the liquor license, putting her in jail, shutting down the venue, and taking our liquor license. So obviously we are going to not cut any corners. It's going to cost around $30,000 to run new electrical work all the way from the downstairs up to the roof for our AC units to power them, and then obviously the AC units. And then we also will be soundproofing the walls, all of the windows, and pretty much making sure that this big box is totally airtight so that no sound can get out.
Now, I know you guys started, I read in the same city paper article that you referenced, you guys did run an Indiegogo campaign, and you exceeded the amount that you asked for relatively quickly. Does that give you confidence that the community will get behind you to help raise the money necessary to get this place up to code?
Absolutely. The support has been incredible. Honestly, it's really reinvigorated all of us here just to see how much people care and how intertwined this is in the music community. Jazz musicians. August 10th we have an all-star jazz jam. All the musicians said, "Hey, we want to just come out and play for you and do a fundraiser." August 14th we have a Sunday Fun Day. All of these bands said, "Hey, we would love to just come out and play one day." Everybody's donating their time. There's been breweries coming out of the woodworks. All these different companies have been donating gift baskets to do Chinese auctions. Dave the Cello is a great local photographer. Thursday, August 18th, he's doing a gallery here. And these are just all people that we've worked with over the years that just said, "Hey, you've helped us out. We'd like to come and help you out now." And it's been great. And then just the average, we have people that come in for shows and say, "Hey, I'm going to pay double at the door this time. I just want to help you guys out." And it's been moving.
What if you can't raise the money?
I think we'll be fine. It's a family business. We've already been sinking some of our own money into it. We expect that. We don't want everybody else to have to do all of this. But just the help has been huge. And we're doing it as my dad's here right now working on stuff. So we're doing it as a family and we're working together as a community. I'm sure we'll be fine.
We just recently lost the Ultra Bar, and obviously there was a risk with this place, especially with the sound. You can't obviously have family members going to jail because you're helping the local music community. So what impact would losing an establishment like this have on not only the local music community but the Pittsburgh community at large?
Well, this is a historical building that lots of people have great memories of, going back for a long, long time. And I think there's a new generation coming through here now that's creating brand new memories. And so we still have the jazz and the blues that have been here forever, but now I feel like we're much more intertwined in some of the younger genres, indie rock, metal and things like that, electronic music. So I think it would be difficult for the music community, but we would also, I like to think of ourselves as a very important part of Deutschetown and the Northside community. When we came here in 2011, things looked and were very different than they are here. And I know there's a great group of people working to make these changes, and I like to think that we're a big part of it. We've even had, we have a great new brewery, Allegheny City Brewing, right next door.
Have they opened yet?
I believe that they just opened up.
Okay.
I know that Deutschetown Music Festival, they ran out of all their beer because it was a crazy day. So I know that pushed it back a little bit. But everything I've had over there has been great. And whenever I told them about the situation, they were so worried because they said one of the reasons they chose that spot was to be next to James Street.
Okay.
Because they knew we'd be able to work together, and we're bringing people over to this part of town, and I'm so excited that they're there because they're going to be bringing people over to this part of town. So I feel like it's something that, you know, everybody is on the same page, and that's why everybody's working together to keep this place up and running, more or less.
You mentioned jazz. Obviously, this place has a rich jazz tradition.
Yeah.
What would losing this place mean to the jazz community? Because I look at with CJ's closing, and that was the other big joint. I feel like this is the last bastion of a steady jazz venue, and it's weird because jazz is popular and has such a rich history in Pittsburgh, and there's places like downtown. They're able to get people to stay after work to watch free jazz at Katz Plaza.
Yeah.
They have the big jazz festival where they shut down blocks of the city and everything else. So there's a huge jazz love in Pittsburgh, but there's really not. There's very few jazz venues.
Yes, there's still a few like Andy's, and there's some places here and there, but we are definitely the hub. I like to think for jazz
I would agree.
music in the city, and it's especially starting with James Street Tavern being clearly the hub of jazz for 20 plus years. We just kind of continued on with that tradition whenever we moved in here. I feel that jazz needs James Street and James Street needs jazz, more or less. We coincide together. But if something were to happen here, I think that would be very, very difficult. There wouldn't be shows, and that would seriously injure a lot of people's livelihoods in the city.
Someone's listening in, they're a fan of James Street, or maybe they've never come here, but they're interested. What fundraisers do you have going on? How can people support the venue and support the place that you have here that is so great for the local music community? It has really three areas, three different venues in one building.
Yeah.
How can people support?
Well, we still have the Indiegogo still up and running. It's Save James Street. You can find it on there. We also have all of the fundraiser shows that I listed earlier. You can just go to our website or go to our Facebook page or go to Twitter. We pretty much are updating stuff on there all the time. But really, the biggest thing is just to come out and support any show. Just come out any Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have music tonight. We've got music, I think, Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Just keep supporting local music, and it's supporting us in the long run. This
place is great. I come here often. I'm a big fan of the Roger Humphreys event on Thursday. One of my favorite bands, Elevations. They perform here all the time as well. Really some great music. I know Jonathan, who's recording for us, he's performed here as well. It's just a great venue. And one thing I want to get your thoughts on this, kind of taking a different direction. Downstairs in the Speakeasy,
yes,
I've often compared it to the cantina in A New Hope of Star Wars with the lighting and the arches and everything else. Do you think that's a fair comparison?
I've not heard that, but that is pretty good. It has that vibe.
It has the vibe. It's got the stage. It's got the dim lighting. Even the bar kind of resembles.
It has a lot of personality down there for sure. So yeah, I could see that. Maybe there's probably not as many lightsabers. Never a bar fight, so that's probably good. But yeah, it kind of has that vibe with the music and everything down there.
Yeah, so come check it out. We're here on James Street Gastropub and Speakeasy in Deutschetown. You can check them out. What's your guys' website?
It's www.jamesstreetgastropub.com.
So check that out. All the information is there, their Facebook page, all of that. We'll try to tweet it out here at the River's Edge. For Kevin Saftner, I'm Brian Crawford. You're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.